What was supposed to be a happy housewarming party quickly spiraled into pure chaos when my cousin Noah 18 caught his girlfriend in the middle of a shocking scandal. Family members tried to calm things down, but what followed was a dramatic confrontation that exposed lies, betrayal, and secrets no one saw coming. This wasn't just a ruined party, it was the start of a family war. I honestly don't even know where to stop because my brain is still spinning from last night. My cousin Noah 18 just moved into his first apartment, and the family decided to throw him a little housewarming. Nothing too fancy, just food, music, cousins crammed into his small living room, and Noah walking around like he was finally an adult. The mood was actually great at first. My Aunt Linda's mom brought way too much food, like she always does. My older brother Mark was DJing from his phone, trying to make Spotify playlists like he was at Coachella. And then there was Noah's girlfriend, Emily. She's been around for maybe a year now, and to be fair, most of us liked her. She seemed sweet, supportive, and super into Noah. I thought she was a good match. But apparently, she was also good at pretending. About an hour in, while everyone was laughing and hanging out, I noticed Emily slipping away into the kitchen. I didn't think much of it until I saw Noah's best friend, Jason, follow her. Jason's been friends with Noah since middle school, so he's basically family at this point. I figured maybe they were grabbing more chips or something. But they were gone for a while. Like way too long. I only went to check because Aunt Linda asked me to grab more sodas from the fridge. I walked into the kitchen and I swear my jaw almost hit the floor. Emily and Jason weren't grabbing chips. They were pressed up against the counter, kissing like teenagers in some cheesy high school drama. I froze. They didn't even notice me at first. Then Emily saw me, gasped, and brushed Jason away like that was going to erase what I just saw. Jason looked like a deer in headlights. I didn't even know what to say, I just blurted. Are you serious right now? Probably louder than I should have. Of course, Noah heard me from the other room. He came in all confused, and I swear time slowed down. Emily tried to step in front of Jason like she could somehow cover for him, but Noah wasn't stupid. His face went pale when he realised what was happening. What the hell is this? He asked, force shaking. Emily stuttered something like, it's not what it looks like, which, come on, is literally the worst line you could use when your lips are still swollen from kissing someone else. Jason just kept muttering, bro, I'm sorry, like that would magically fix it. The whole room went dead silent as people started filing into the kitchen, sensing drama. Aunt Linda's smile faded instantly. My brother Mark actually turned off the music, which made the silence feel even heavier. And then Noah just exploded. You were supposed to be my best friend, he yelled at Jason. And he turned to Emily, you're disgusting. Emily started crying, Jason kept apologising, and Noah just stood there shaking. My heart was pounding because this wasn't just drama, this was betrayal on the deepest level. And trust me, this was just the beginning. The second Noah's voice cracked through that kitchen, it was like a grenade went off in the middle of the party. Everyone was just standing there, frozen, not sure if they should intervene or let it play out. My Aunt Linda whispered, oh my god, under her breath, but no one dared to step forward. Noah's fists were clenched so tight his knuckles went white. How long has this been going on? He demanded, eyes darting between Jason and Emily. Emily wiped at her tears, trying to make herself look like the victim. It was a mistake, Noah, I swear, it didn't mean anything. Jason muttered, we didn't plan it, it just happened. Didn't mean anything? Noah's voice broke. That's my best friend and my girlfriend. How the hell is that nothing? I felt my stomach twist. I knew Noah idolized Jason. They'd been through everything together, sleepovers, school fights, even helping each other get their first cars. And am I? Noah was talking about moving in with her eventually. To watch that trust shatter right in front of everyone, it was brutal. My brother Mark tried to calm things down. Yo, let's take this outside before the neighbours call the cops. But Noah wasn't having it. He stepped closer to Jason, pointing at him. You sat across from me at dinner. You came to family BBQs, and all that time you were sneaking around with her. What kind of sick F*** does that? Jason finally raised his voice, desperate. It wasn't like that, it was just a kiss, I swear. Nothing else happened. And then Emily, in her panic, blurted out the one thing she should have kept quiet. That's not true. The room collectively gasped. Aunt Linda actually clutched her chest like she was about to faint. Noah's head snapped toward Emily. What do you mean it's not true? Her face went pale as she realised she'd just outed herself. I didn't mean it. Jason slammed his hand against the counter. Emily, shut up. Now it was obvious. This wasn't some drunken slip up at a party. This had been going on for a while. Noah's whole body started shaking. How long? He said again, quieter this time but way scarier. Emily tried to reach for him, but he pulled back like she was toxic. Finally, she whispered, a couple months. That was it. Noah lost it. He shoved a chair so hard it toppled, the crash echoing through the apartment. Months, you've been in my bed, eating at my table, while sneaking behind my back with him. Jason tried to step forward. Bro, please. But Noah lunged like he was going to deck him. Mark and I had to jump in, grabbing Noah by the arms before he threw a punch. Jason stumbled back, his face red with shame. You're dead to me. Noah spat, tears finally streaming down his face. Both of you, get out of my house. Emily started sobbing harder, trying to apologise, but Jason just grabbed her wrist and muttered, let's go. They worked out together, the ultimate slap in the face. The door slammed, and all that was left was Noah, trembling in the wreckage of what was supposed to be his big night. After Emily and Jason stormed out, the apartment felt empty. But not in a peaceful way, more like a war zone. Plates were still scattered on counters, the music was dead silent, and the smell of untouched snacks somehow made the room heavier. Noah just stood there, staring at the door, chest heaving, fist still clenched. Aunt Linda finally managed to speak, her voice trembling. No, honey, are you okay? Noah didn't answer at first. He shook his head slowly, like he couldn't process anything. Then he muttered, almost to himself, I trusted them, I trusted both of them. His voice cracked, and I could see the anger and heartbreak battling on his face. I stepped closer, unsure what to do. Nard, it's not your fault. They messed up, not you. He turned toward me, eyes blazing. Not my fault. They were my family. Jason, my best friend. Emily, my girlfriend. How is that not my fault? Should I have seen it coming? Mark, trying to lighten the tension, made a weak joke. Dude, honestly, Who does that at a housewarming? But it fell flat. No didn't laugh. He didn't even acknowledge him. Aunt Linda started pacing, muttering, "I can't believe this. How could they?" Right in front of everyone. Her hands trembled as she tried to hold herself together. I felt like I had to do something, so I suggested, maybe we should go out, get some air, let it sink in. No finally nodded. Yeah, maybe. He grabbed his hoodie and stepped outside onto the tiny balcony. The night was cool, quiet, and a little rainy. The city lights twinkled below, but No didn't notice. He just leaned on the railing, staring at nothing, his hands shaking. I stayed with him silent. I didn't want to say the wrong thing. I could feel his pain, like someone had ripped out a part of him and left a raw wound. After a few minutes, he finally spoke. I can't believe they were both lying to me. I don't know who to trust anymore. Everyone seems fake now. I swallowed hard. No, I know it feels like the world's falling apart, but it's just them. You've still got family who actually cares about you. You're not alone. He looked at me, eyes red, mascara running slightly from crying. I feel like I'm standing in a room full of people and everyone's pretending to be something they are not. I nodded. Yeah, they were pretending, but you're real, don't forget that. He finally let out a long, shaky breath, leaning his forehead against the railing. I don't know if I can ever forgive them. Not Jason, not Emily, and I don't know if I even want to. We stayed out there for a while, just listening to the rain and city noise. Inside, the rest of the family was quietly cleaning up, whispering, and occasionally glancing out at us. The housewarming was over. The betrayal was exposed. And somehow, in the middle of all that chaos, Noah had taken the first step toward processing it just by standing there, facing the night, and letting himself feel everything. Little did we know, the fallout was only beginning the next morning. The apartment felt so real, like the previous night had been some twisted dream. Noah didn't sleep well, and neither did I, honestly. The second we stepped back inside, the tension was palpable. Aunt Linda was hovering near the kitchen, trying to act normal while occasionally muttering about how this never happens in our family. Mark drew to form, tried to lighten the mood. Yo, at least the furniture survived, right? But even his sarcasm felt hollow. Noah stayed quiet, eyes dark circles from crying, still wearing his hoodie like armor. He didn't even glance at the kitchen where Emily and Jason had been caught. Instead, he went straight to the living room, sat on the couch, and just stared. Then came the whispers. First, my cousin Sarah, she's only 16, but somehow she already has the maturity of someone way older, walked in and whispered to me, "Did you see what happened last night? Everyone's talking." I sighed. Yeah, everyone. Apparently, everyone included not just our immediate family, but the extended relatives who'd come for the housewarming. Aunt Linda's sister had already texted half the family group chat. Noah's betrayal story was basically going viral among our cousins before breakfast. Noah slammed his hand on the coffee table. "I don't care who knows," he snapped. His voice echoed around the apartment, and even Sarah flinched. "Let them talk. They don't know them like I do. They don't know the pain they caused." Mark walked over, putting a hand on Noah's shoulder. "It's gonna suck for a while, bro, but everyone's got your back here. Don't let gossip make it worse." Noah shook him off. "You don't get it. It's not just the gossip. It's how everyone pretends it didn't happen when clearly it did. People smiled at them last night, laughed with them, and now everyone's pretending it never happened." At that point, Aunt Linda finally intervened. She placed her hands on his shoulders, looking both exhausted and heartbroken. "No, I know it hurts. I know it feels like your world is upside down, but you're strong. You've got people who love you. You can get through this." Noah leaned back, burying his face in his hands. "It's not just about me, Mom, it's about trust. It's about family. If the people I care about are just gonna lie like that, who can I even trust anymore?" I sat next to him, unsure what else to say. Finally, I whispered, "You can trust us, not them, not the fake smiles, just us. We'll deal with the rest later." He looked at me, and for the first time since the housewarming disaster, there was a flicker of something besides rage and heartbreak, maybe relief, maybe the tiniest hint of hope. The day dragged on, and Noah stayed mostly in his room, avoiding calls and texts. But the family couldn't ignore the situation. Aunt Linda had to deal with relatives calling and asking questions. Mark was fielding messages from friends who heard about the drama. And I just stayed near Noah, watching him navigate this mess, knowing full well that the scandal wasn't over. The emotional storm had only just begun. By evening, Noah finally came out of his room, sitting in silence while the apartment slowly returned to some semblance of normalcy. But the tension lingered. The betrayal had exposed cracks in relationships we didn't even know existed. And everyone knew one thing for sure: last night wasn't going to be forgotten anytime soon. By the next day, the scandal had officially snowballed. Noah didn't want to hear about it at first, but once relatives started dropping by to check on him, he realized he couldn't hide forever. The betrayal wasn't just emotional anymore, it had become public knowledge. Even our neighbours had apparently caught wind, judging by the whispers in the hallway. Noah was quiet all morning, scrolling through social media on his phone. I peeked over once and nearly dropped my coffee. Pictures of last night's housewarming were everywhere, some with captions like "Crazy family drama at Noah's party last night, and a cousin caught in a cheating mess, so messy lol, asterisk." Finally, he slammed the phone down. "I swear everyone's taking a side like I'm the jerk here. I'm done sitting quietly." I knew what that meant. Noah was planning some kind of confrontation. And judging by the fire in his eyes, this wasn't going to be calm. By mid-afternoon, he called Jason. Not to apologise or talk it out, no, he wanted answers. Jason came over reluctantly, probably expecting Noah to explode. And he wasn't wrong. As soon as the door opened, Noah's anger hit full force. "Sit," Noah demanded, pointing to the couch like a drill sergeant. Jason froze, flustered, muttering, "Look, man, No, you listen," Noah interrupted, voice cold and shaking. "I want the truth, everything, no excuses, no lying." Jason's eyes started to the floor. "It was a mistake, I swear. Nothing more happened than what you saw. I didn't mean to hurt you." Noah laughed bitterly, a sharp, cutting sound. "A mistake, months of sneaking around. Thousands of texts, late night meetups, that's your mistake." At that moment, Emily appeared behind Jason, looking nervous and guilty. She muttered, I didn't mean for it to go this far." Noah's glare turned on her like lightning. "Don't even speak. Every word from you is poison. You lied, cheated, and used my trust like it was nothing." Aunt Linda, who had somehow followed, gasped. No, calm down, please. But no wasn't calming down. No. I've been calm long enough. I trusted you, Jason. I trusted you, Emily. And you both decided that didn't matter. I don't forgive. I don't forgive liars. You're out. End of story. He didn't yell. His voice was eerily quiet, like the calm before storm. Jason and Emily both nodded, understanding that there was no reasoning with him anymore. No's calm fury was worse than any shouting match. They knew they'd been completely dismantled. After they left, No collapsed on the couch, head in his hands. I don't even know if I want them in my life again, he whispered. Not ever. I sat beside him, placing a hand on his shoulder. And you don't have to. Some people are toxic, and that's on them. You've got the rest of us. You're not alone in this. No looked up exhausted, but resolute. Yeah, I guess the housewarming wasn't about celebrating my new apartment after all. It was about learning who really belongs in my life. For the first time since the scandal began, there was a sense of clarity. Betrayal had struck hard, but No was starting to see who truly mattered and who didn't. The days after the confrontation felt surreal. No barely left his apartment except to run errands, and even then, his face was set in this hard, determined expression, like he was shielding himself from the world. Emily and Jason didn't reach out again, and honestly, No didn't want them to. Family slowly tried to return to normal, but normal felt different now. Every laugh, every casual conversation, seemed to carry the weight of what had happened. And Linda kept a close eye on him, hovering in that overprotective way only moms can. You don't have to face them, she said more than once, making sure he knew she'd always have his back. I spent most of my time with him, helping him unpack boxes he'd neglected, setting up his living room furniture, and occasionally just sitting in silence. We didn't need words, just being there seemed to help him feel anchored again. One evening, after a long day of sorting through old moving boxes, No finally broke the silence. He knew it's weird. I thought losing Emily and Jason would feel like the end of the world, but it's not really. I feel lighter, somehow, like a weight I didn't know I was carrying has been lifted. I smiled. Yes, sometimes betrayal sucks, but it also makes room for the people who actually matter. You're finally seeing that. No nodded slowly. I guess the worst part is realizing how much I let people like that control my happiness, but now I decide who matters in my life, and if they're toxic, they're out. Simple as that. Aunt Linda walked by and overheard him. Her eyes welled up a little. That's my boy, she whispered, barely audible. Over the next week, Noah started reaching out to friends who genuinely cared about him, people who'd never betrayed him or let him down. He hosted a small dinner, inviting just a few close cousins and Mark, where we laughed without the shadow of Emily and Jason hanging over us. It was quiet, intentional, and healing. He also set clear boundaries with family members who'd been caught up in the gossip. Noah realized he didn't need validation from anyone who had no respect for his feelings. His focus shifted entirely toward the relationships that truly mattered, to the ones built on honesty and trust. One night, while sitting on the balcony and looking at the city lights, Noah turned to me and said, I feel like I've grown up in a week. Betrayal taught me more than any school or lesson ever could. I know now that trust is earned, and I wouldn't give it to anyone who doesn't deserve it. I couldn't help but feel proud. He'd taken a devastating blow and turned it into a lesson about resilience, boundaries, and self-respect. By the end of that week, Noah wasn't the same fragile heart kid from the housewarming night. He was stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever to protect his heart and his life from anyone who didn't belong in it. The scandal had shaken him to his core, but it had also set him free. It was finally a Saturday evening when Noah decided it was time for some closure. The apartment was quiet, the boxes mostly unpacked, and the tension from the housewarming had mostly faded. Aunt Linda suggested they have a small family gathering, just immediate family this time, so Noah could finally talk things through without Emily or Jason anywhere near. As everyone settled in the living room, Noah stood in the centre, taking a deep breath. His voice was steady, but you could feel the weight behind it. I just want to say something, he began. Last week was one of the worst experiences of my life. I trusted people, and I got betrayed, but I've learned a lot about myself and the people who actually matter. Mark leaned back in his chair, nodding silently, while Aunt Linda's eyes glistened with pride. I could see Noah holding back some tears, but there was also a strength in his stance that hadn't been there before. I've decided that I'm done giving people chances who don't respect me, Noah continued. Emily and Jason, they made their choices, and I can't change that, but I can control who I keep close and who I let influence my life. He looked around at the family, meeting eyes with each of us. I know some of you were caught up in the gossip, or maybe you didn't know how to act. That's okay. I just want honesty moving forward. I want to surround myself with people I can trust. There was a pause. Aunt Linda finally spoke. Noah, I'm so proud of you. You handled this better than anyone could have expected. You've grown up so much in such a short time. Noah smiled faintly, a mix of relief and pride. Thanks, Mom. That means a lot. Mark added, honestly, bro, I think this whole mess just made you stronger. You've got your head on straight now, and anyone who can't handle that isn't worth your time. The atmosphere in the apartment shifted. It was no longer heavy with betrayal and anger. Instead, it was filled with quiet understanding, support, and even a little laughter as we started joking about minor things from the housewarming, not Emily and Jason, just Thomas, stuff like Mark's terrible playlist choices or Aunt Linda burning her casserole. Noah finally relaxed, sinking into the couch beside me. It's weird, he said softly. I thought this would ruin everything for me, but it didn't. It made me see who really matters. I nodded. Exactly, then you don't have to worry about fake people anymore. You know who's real now. He looked out the window at the city lights again. I guess that's the silver lining. It sucked at first, but now I feel like I can actually move forward without holding on to the pain. I know who I am, and I know who belongs in my life. That night, the family left one by one, leaving Noah and me alone in the apartment. He was quiet for a moment, just letting the silence settle. Then he turned to me and said, Thanks for being there. I don't think I could have handled any of this without you. I shrugged, smiling. What are cousins for? Noah laughed softly, the first time it felt completely genuine in days. Yeah, exactly. What are cousins for? And in that moment, the apartment no longer felt like a war zone. It felt like a home again. The scandal, the betrayal, and the heartbreak had changed Noah forever, but in the end, it also set him free. He was stronger, wiser, and finally ready to live life on his terms. The housewarming might have started as a celebration of a new apartment, but it ended as the beginning of Noah's true growth.